Everyone having a good time so far, Sundance? Welcome to the WeAudition event. Thank you all for being here. Looks like we've got a packed house. Thank you, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. We came last year and we did a panel on the future of casting. It's very last minute. Who was here last year at Future of Casting? One of you. And she brought everyone else. So we did a panel last year because it was just quick off the bat. Someone said, do you want to do something? What are you going to call it? And I was like, the future of casting, because that's what we're all about, WeAudition. And it's since turned into a thing we do at all the film festivals. We've done South by Southwest, we've done Cannes Film Festival, we did Toronto, we did Hainan in China. We've been to all the places this year. I'm so excited to be back here at the Music Lodge with all you guys. Thanks for coming down. Now that was weak, guys. I had this, yeah. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Damianbaum. I am an actor and producer. I seem to like to do 80s reboot shows like MacGyver and Magnum and Roots and things like that. You can hire me for new stuff too. I've got a film coming up with Jordan Peele, some random actor guy that hasn't done very much, called Abruptio. It's a puppet horror. It's really crazy. And we're doing another film in Tuscany. Is Naomi Grossman in here? No? Okay, she's in Sundance, but we're doing that film. And also the co-founder of WeAudition.com, which is a platform that I run with this fine gentleman, who's going to step up on stage now. So Richard and I have been running this for about 4 years. It's really taken off. If you don't know about it, it's video chat for actors and casting. So you can connect with other actors all around the world to do video chat auditions, rehearsals. People call it like an Uber for actors. If you need someone to rehearse with, you log on. Someone's just available somewhere in the world that will help you on your audition. Someone's calling me. Who does that when I'm on stage? Like, seriously. Oh, it's our photographer. Lauren, I'm on stage. Everyone can hear you. You're by Audible, so just go behind Audible, walk down towards 710 Bodega, and then we're at Music Lodge. Sorry, guys. It's just to the back. Music. Ask anyone for Music Lodge. Everyone say hi to Lauren. She's going to take your pictures in a bit. See you in a bit. Music Lodge, all right? Anyhow, see, it's live and unfiltered. So yeah, this is Richard. So Lauren just ruined your introduction.
Hi, we've been working on this project for about 4 years, and as Darren said, we've been talking about the future of casting at different places. So hopefully today we can just talk about a few things. We've got kind of a little bit of an agenda, but not really anything specific. So it might jam a bit. If you wanted to ask any questions, feel free, because it's super flexible.
Yes, chill. So yeah, Rich, he's really bad at doing his own PR, so I'm going to do it for him. He is also an actor and producer. His film Man-Made is doing all the festivals at the moment. This man was originally discovered by Michael Ovitz. No one knows of him either, right? And he's our amazing co-founder at WeAudition. So, guys, before I introduce our panelists, I just want to call some attention to this wonderful group down here at the front. You guys can stand up if you want. But these are our WeAudition elite members in the house. These are the guys that really use our platform a lot. They come on all the trips with us. They're awesome actors and directors. We've got all sorts in here. So please come and get to know them after the event. You've seen their pictures all over our stuff. And we also have our wonderful sponsor, which is Ciak Accounting. This guy here. He's an entertainment tax strategist, so thank you to him for helping us put on an event. Thank you to Music Lodge. Thank you to Heineken for keeping us liquidated. Liquidated? I don't know. Hydrated. This event keeps me liquidated. So yeah, without further ado, let's welcome our panelists. Who am I going to get first? Is Mr. Damianbaum in the place? Damian, let's have you up. Damian was a superstar panelist at our Cannes panel. Do you want to take this one? As you can see, he came straight from Cannes Film Festival. And this one. He is He's a casting director that we met in Cannes because his film was Port Authority was in the Uncertain Regard competition. It made a big noise at Cannes. We got some great press in the Hollywood Reporter because it was the first film that cast a black trans actress in the history of Cannes. Diversity! And I'm going to let him tell you a bit more about what he does. Hey Lauren, it's Lauren everyone. So Lauren, you've now interrupted Richard's biography and Damian's. Lauren's great, we love her.
Do you want to introduce everyone first?
Yeah, I'll bring everyone up and then you can do your own instructions. So next up we have Adrienne Stern. Woo! Adrienne is another casting director, based between New York and LA, correct? And she has had 3 films that have won Sundance. Starting with, I think, the Believer with Ryan Gosling, and many more nominated at all the film festivals around the world. So I'll let her tell you more about that in a bit. Carrie Vernon's actress extraordinaire. Welcome to the stage, Carrie. Some of you might have seen Carrie at our event in Cannes as well. Carrie is in Black Panther, Avengers Endgame, The Walking Dead. I get exhausted reading her credits, so I'll let her do it. And last but not least, Anthony Ciak, who's going to come up here. This guy is an entertainment tax strategist. He really actually works with A-list clients and future A-list clients to help them build their careers with a focus on finance. But he'll tell you more about how he actually develops talent and connects talent to make their financial lives mirror their success. Is what I'd say. I'm going to hand it over to you guys. Why don't you introduce yourselves? Damian.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Thanks for coming tonight. My name is Damianbaum. I'm a casting director and producer based in New York. I specialize in a hybrid type of casting process where oftentimes the films that I cast combine traditional actors represented by agencies and real people that are street scouted from the streets, or first-time actors, or actors that are not represented. So I like to mix it up and really cast characters for my film. I'm an advocate for diversity and inclusion, whether it's race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, and I also think about abilities and disabilities and the representation of those. Who often are invisible in our media landscape, even today in 2020. And I think it's important that we advocate for more visibility for just like the wide spectrum of the human experience. I'm from New Orleans, so I am a Southern boy.
We got New Orleans in the house.
Yeah. So I haven't started drinking yet, but I promise I'll be honest. I'm on my 5th martini tonight. All right.
Hi everybody, I'm Adrienne Stern. It's nice to see such a full house. Is there anybody I know here besides my friends who I brought, Rebecca, Karen, Katha? Who else is here that I know? Oh, Katha, she's back there. So I've been a casting director for a million years. I've probably had a dozen films in the Sundance Film Festival and every other film festival out there. I've had films that have won the festivals. I am a busy casting director. I'm always looking to meet people. But what I've learned in the past number of years is let's think outside of the box. Let's really figure out what we need to do to move forward in today's world, in today's society. How can we present our project to the audiences that are looking for something that will include them, feel that they see themselves in the projects. When a project comes my way, I sit down with my team and I really look at it from every angle, and a lot of times something will come my way and it's very vanilla or whatnot, and I get it if something's about a specific generation or it's an African American, a Jewish story, an Asian story. But when we're making a film, a television series, or anything, let's just see who's out there. And I have worked on many, many things. I would definitely say that this year for me personally was the year of the Latino film. And that seemed to be the direction that a lot of my clients, and I'm on quite a few now, and I had a summer of Latino films. And that's one thing I've learned about casting, that it goes in sort of cycles where all of a sudden you're doing the teen film, you're doing the geriatric film, you're doing the horror films. So I do everything. So I'm happy to meet everybody here and ask me any questions you want to, and happy to be with this group.
Thank you, Adrienne. Carrie Vernon, everyone.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Carrie Bernans. First off, I want to say thank you for showing up in the cold and welcome to Sundance, hey. So I'm at, day 2. So I'm an actress, I'm also a stunt woman, I'm also a producer, writer, philanthropist. As Darren mentioned, I've done Black Panther, I was Dora Milaje, I had to shave my head. Which was a good process, I'm thankful, hey, hallelujah, all right. I also did Avengers, X-Men, Walking Dead, working on Orville, just got cast in Reno 911, and countless other things. But
So basically there's no work for anyone else because Carrie took it all.
And I don't say this to be boastful. I say this that, it was all a process, right? We're all here at the Sundance Film Festival for multiple reasons, to make meaningful relationships and to build ourselves and our strategy in our career, right? So I say connect with the person next to you. You never know who might be the person to refer you for a job or recommend you for something. You never know when your name is not mentioned in the room that you're not in, but it could be mentioned in great ways, I'm saying, and that can move your career forward, because that happened to me. And I want to say thank you, because WeAudition has set me up for greatness and success. Actually, late last night, I was on the WeAudition platform to prepare for an audition that Chelsea and Ashley and Janet all helped me tape, and I'm grateful to be here. Yay!
And she actually, guys, Carrie actually booked a job after the last panel in Cannes. She booked 3 jobs from the last panel. So I salute anyone that's come to a film festival, because people often say to me, why do you go to film festivals unless you got a film there? And I'm like, to support other people, to create events, to create community. So you guys all for showing up, you're awesome, Anthony.
That's what it's all about. It's about networking, right?
Yeah.
So I own an entertainment accounting firm, and you're like, why is this guy on a panel, right? For future of casting. The reason why is because our firm has found a way to connect our talent with casting directors, with sponsors, with amazing, talented producers and directors. And the way we've been able to do it was by finding sponsorship opportunities, just like the one we've done today, or this week, and connecting you guys, that people right here in front of us, with amazing people, with this room of people. And so we are almost like your publicist, but we're not your publicist, because we're also all about doing your taxes and your accounting, making sure that you understand why things... Money is important, exactly. But it's all about making sure that you guys understand why things are happening when they're happening. I don't agree with many approaches in my industry, and we really, really want to make it very clear that we want you as talent to have control of your finances, have control of your future. By relinquishing that control to business managers or other accounting firms, it puts a damper on your life, because you don't actually know what's going on. So the goal is to make sure that you guys understand your life and how you are going to move forward, and we help facilitate that and help communicate that with you and bring you into stardom. Carrie is a perfect example. Darren has been an amazing client of mine for many, many years. Many of you in here are my clients. And the reason you are is because you guys are amazing people.
He's phenomenal, I'll say that.
Okay. But we really care about you guys and really care about you succeeding. And so I'm just very honored to be up here with you guys today.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks for doing
And just to add to that, how that relates to the future of casting, guys, as well, is because if you don't understand your money and you don't understand your quotes and you don't understand what you're getting paid and what you should be getting paid and when to turn down a job and when not to, you're not going to rise that trajectory, and you're going to stay in that same space always. And there's so many actors out there that don't know when their value has gone up, and he helps you understand that, like your manager and agent does, but as an integral part of that team.
And actually, things have changed quite a lot. Since we've been working on WeAudition, things have changed quite a lot, and Anthony's in a really good position to talk about, maybe if you want to do that now, talk about how the deals that are available for actors, because we're an actors website, have changed, and actually some of the deals that are coming out of some of the streaming services are very different to how they used to be when it was a network show and something like that.
Yeah, before we answer that, how many of the people in the room are actors? Actors, put your hand up. How many people are producers or filmmakers?
Good
Right, so
split,
kind of
good split.
even. How many people have no clue what this is and why they're here, but they came for free beer? Honesty gets you everywhere, guys. Right. Let's all of us, if we could try and keep our answers relative to both sides of the coin, I think, because there's people that are casting projects here, and there's people that want to be casting projects or are in projects. So, so Anthony, tell us about, we like to talk about the future, like Rich said. The deals are changing. How's that impacting people? How's that impacting your clients? And what have you seen the change in what an actor has to do in their life, or what a filmmaker has to do to prepare for that?
So first of all, you're all talent to me. So if you're a director, if you're a producer, if you're an actor, an actress, you're all, even a makeup artist, a photographer, you guys are all talent, much more talented than I am in entertainment. But what we have noticed in trends is with all the new tax laws that came out a couple years ago, they disallowed a lot of deductions, and I'm not going to get boring, but the big thing was commissions, agent commissions, and you guys pay a ton of them to a lot of people. And the ability to not deduct that is huge, because you're essentially paying tax at source. So you're forking over a ton of money and then getting taxed on all that money that you forked over. So it's kind of crazy. So what we do is we create loan outs, which many of you probably already know what a loan out is, but we create loan outs, and very tax efficient loan outs, and we help progress that into a better vehicle, and that's all dependent upon your success. So that's why the future of casting is so important. Having us connect you with casting directors, having us connect you in award shows. We sponsor them because we want to bring our clients there. So the dynamic's shifting, and that you guys need to really understand that the system is actually against you fully, and we know that and recognize it, and we want to help you achieve what you want to achieve, but not give away all of your money. I mean, it's crazy.
So the income's gone down, hasn't it, in a lot of scenarios because of
huge.
streaming. Adrienne, if we can speak to you a second about this, because you do a lot of indie stuff, can't you?
I'm on so many projects. I'm closing deals every day with actors. Here's the basic bottom line. It's all about getting the job. Once you get the job, you can move forward to get the next job. If you get a job, you are not in a position to negotiate your salary. If it is a SAG scale position, that's what you're going to get, and that's it. If you come to us and you say, hey, I want more, there's somebody right behind you who will want that job, and I will move on very quickly. Unless you are a name actor who is bringing value to a project, and we are going to get distribution or whatever it is out there, you're just not in that position. So put yourselves out there with the attitude of, I just want to work, I just want to have a good time. Yes, we all have to pay taxes. It doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on. Bottom line is just get the work. That's what it's all about. Work gets work, okay? So don't worry about that other stuff. And that's really how it works. So I walk away really quickly from somebody who's difficult. Do not be difficult. Accept the rate, and that's what it is, okay? And I'm sorry, and to answer your question, nobody is in a position of negotiation right now. There's so much product out there, and there's so many actors out there. You're replaceable in a heartbeat, and I don't mean it in a negative way. It's just I got to do my job. I'm on a deadline, and it has to move quickly. And if you show like, oh, I want 100 more or 5,000 more, or whatever it is in the negotiation pool, we just say no and thank you so much, and we don't even get back to you. So think about what you're doing out there. Just go get the work. Work hard about the craft. Don't worry about the money. You will get there. If you're going to succeed, you will succeed. And listen, I've been casting for so many years. Don't always think that you have to be the actor in a television series or the actor in a film. You could do industrials. You could do commercials. You could do voiceovers. You could do regional theater. There's something out there for everybody. Find your niche that makes you happy, and have something else that makes you even more happy than that, because that's really what it's all about. Because at the end of the day, you might not even want to act in a year from now, or you might want to be a writer, producer, have so much going on.
There's a lot of people that say you've got to really love this, isn't there? Because it's so hard. Damian, you've worked in a couple of big indie projects that have done big festival things lately, right? Talk to us about how those deals went down, and did you have any challenges of working with certain budgets, with new directors or new actors? Was that tough for you to write those deals, or?
Well, I started my career as a casting associate on Andrew's On American Honey, which was
a fellow Brit and a fellow ginger, may I add?
Yes. So that was a weird first project to be on, because you're working for an Oscar-winning director. So all the actors in Hollywood were wanted to be a part of it. So I had I had an awakening when I started my own company and started casting my $1.2 million film. And it's like Adrienne said, it's scale. There's no room to negotiate, because everyone who works on indies is, even myself as a casting director, I don't make money casting indies, but I do it because I love it. I want to tell stories. I want to tell stories that haven't been told. I want to take risks that the mainstream won't do it. So if you have to push. And I consider myself an artist. First of all, pretty much I think every one of you guys, because many of us, we do films not because we love telling stories, not because we want to be famous and want the money. Yes, some people, but I'm sure most people here, you guys are probably bunking on someone's couch or sharing an Airbnb. You're here because you love the art, and there's sacrifices in pursuing that dream and that passion. And Adrienne's right, it will pay off. For most people, it's about staying long in the race. But I'll add to that because I specialize in influencer casting too, in fashion and commercial. I do a lot of negotiation behind the scenes where these days you can have an Instagram with 200,000 followers and you can make a post and it's about 10K a post. And those are the deals I negotiate. So I cast a movie called Goldie, starring Rihanna's muse, Slick Woods, who's a model and influencer. I street scouted her, founded her in the streets of New York, follow her on Instagram, slip into her DM, and then we became friends.
That's the new casting platform, slip into her DMs. You heard it here first, guys.
But do check people, Google them when they slip into your DM, okay? There's a lot of creeps out there too.
Yeah. I'm glad you added that.
Maybe it'd be a good time to talk about your process and how, because we keep hearing that the casting process is getting compressed and it's getting faster. And Adrienne kind of said that as well. It's
timescales, yeah.
Real.
I mean, listen, I'm like on 10 films a year. The clients don't want to sit in auditions anymore. They just want self-tape. So everybody in this room better know how to self-tape. And there are rules, and you got to follow them. And if you don't follow them, and you get your tape in after the deadline, we're done with you. We got to move really quickly to meet the demands of the client because they want to look at it and they want to pick somebody. If we see something we like, we'll go back to you and say, hey, can you retape? But it's just really quick, and everybody has to be on their game today. I don't mean to be negative to what you said, but casting directors, as you climb up the ladder, you do make a good salary. Nobody's going to hire you for, you have quotes, and they know that you've done these films that have made money for them. And, they do come after you, and they would rather pay an experienced casting director than somebody who hasn't really done what they're looking for. Each client is different. Some clients want names, some clients want newcomers. I have a film coming out called Porno. I think it's coming out in February. It went to South by. It's all about a bunch of kids who work at a movie theater who find out that it was a porno theater at one point. Go online, you can read the reviews, it's really great. But that was like a director that wanted all unknown actors, which was really, really refreshing. And then I work on films where it's just really heavy, like everybody wants the actors from the big top 5, 7 agencies. So that's what they're looking for, and you got to remember that. And you will get there if you get into those films and you meet these people and you just work hard. That's what it is. It's just, there's no rhyme or reason. Every project is different. Whatever the client wants is what you do. And that's what he has to do, whatever the client wants.
Right.
If they want you to find somebody, I've done the influencer casting. I've done the casting where you're on Instagram nonstop all day looking for people. Like I have bars, 16 bars. Like we found so many people on that. It's all rappers. It's like the next group. I have Little Rack in it. I got Stormy Maya, who happened to be found for Hustlers also. She's the one with the dog in Hustlers. So, you just go online and you do that stuff. But I'm going to answer another question. Instagram. I don't really care how many followers you have on Instagram. I'm looking for talent, not Instagram followers. That's where
Hallelujah. One thing I want to ask the two cast directors here, because we've got a lot of filmmakers in the room. So one of the questions people, it's like that chicken and egg thing. Oh, how do I get my budget for my film? Cast someone famous. How do I cast someone famous? Get a casting director. They cost money. How do I get budget for my film? And we go around that circle. If there's someone out here that's casting or that's producing a film right now, at what point do they bring you on? How do they pay you? Is it an upfront fee and then something else, or how does that work?
First off, tie everything up. Make sure that you're registered with your product. Let's call it your film. You might want an attorney or you might not want an attorney. Have some development money to pay a casting director, some money to attach talent. Again, look at what the casting director's done. If you don't want to spend that money, then go with an associate, an assistant who isn't going to demand it. But if you're going to go after somebody who has a really great resume and you know they can walk you into the agencies, then you're going to have to pay for it. Do you want to shop in Marshall's or do you want to shop in Bergdorf's and Bloomingdale's? I mean, that's really what it is,
Well, I do a lot of real people casting, and my hybrid process combines street people who embody the spirit of the character they're playing, and traditional actors like Marsha Stephanie Blake, who was nominated for an Emmy this year. I cast her in a Goldie playing Slick's mom, and so it's a mixture of that dynamic. And to be honest, street casting costs way more. So when a lot of directors and producer wants to make a movie like American Honey, you have to spend 2 to 3 times the money on the casting.
Is that because it takes longer? How long would that process be? Spell us out what it might be.
It's at least 3 months to American Honey was like 2-3 years. My last 2 films, Golden and Port Authority, were each a year of street casting. While I was actors casting, I was also street casting in New York, and then we were looking for a woman of color of trans experience. So we opened the casting call for the entire world. So we got tapes from Brazil, we got tapes from France, we got tapes from Mississippi, Texas, Tennessee, and I spent about 6 weeks on the road traveling to 25 states looking for the male lead and the female lead, and it costs money, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, in the end, because I'm spending so much time, the money's not there when you spend so much time on it. Even though like most producers, like they're like, they talk to a new director, it's like, oh, I want to cast real people and I want to do it well. And they don't realize when I submit my budget, my estimate, they're like, holy shit. But I'm spending like a year on the road, gas costs money, and I stay in cheap motels just to save the producer money, but it still costs so much money because when you deal with real people too, remember when you were a first-time actor, right? Your first time, you want some, I really respect talent, so like I wanna respect them, respect their emotion and kind of hold their hand a little bit. So we reply to everyone, be like, thank you for your tape. We encourage real people that, from backgrounds that never thought they could, have the opportunity to act or be discovered. So it's a lot more hand-holding. And we learn to be very kind, even whether it's a professional actor with a big agency. There are lots of actors who email our office because they want to be in these really raw projects, and they skip their managers or they ask their managers for our phone number because they want to really dig into the project. And we talk to them, and then we talk to real people. Sometimes we spend an hour when I meet someone great who's a real person who's never had acting experience, and they have not only the look but the spirit, and you know that they have that talent. You just have to pull it out. I've spent an hour or 2 hours in the audition room just for that one person because I knew that they're gonna get.
Is that always after a self-tape? Is self-tape always the first step, or are there other steps that happen before that sometimes?
It depends. So for actors, if you're an actor with an agency or training, you need to be able to master the self-tape because usually most casting offices these days, we want self-tape. But if you're a real person, then oftentimes knowing the psych along that, a lot of people are scared to put themselves out there. It takes a lot of bravery to go into a casting room or make a self-tape, to be vulnerable. So for real people, I invite them into my office. I still have an office in New York, which most casting directors don't because it's expensive, but I think it's important to meet people. I love meeting people. So, yeah.
I can attest to that because Damian last week did a session on WeAudition. He met a bunch of new actors around the world, one-on-one through video chat, and we had to almost stop his session because he was running over for like 2 hours. He wanted to meet everybody that signed up, whereas most people will cut out. He wanted to meet everybody that signed up for it, so it's great. Thank you, Damian, for that again. And so, Carrie, I want to ask you. So we talked about these self-tapes. What's in your career? Let's say in the last few years, let's just keep it tight in the last few years. What's changed in terms of going in the room and self-tapes? Tell us about how your life is different. You just did a self-tape before you came out.
Carrie does a lot of self-tapes. We're staying in a house and she's been doing them every day.
We have a self-tape studio in our house at Sundance because we knew we needed it for these guys. And I think most of you have done self-tapes already, and it's only Friday. Tell us about that process and like what's changed. What percentage of your auditions are self-tape now, and how are you doing these self-tapes, and what do you have to have as an actor? Like what professional equipment and skills are you finding you've got to have now?
Okay, that's a great question. I would say probably about at least 50% of my auditions are self-tapes. Usually I feel like for more like series regular or lead roles or recurring guest star, they're usually in person, but sometimes they do automatically say, hey, we're going to send a tape out to you, and just to kind of narrow down who they bring in the room. Because sometimes that first audition in the room may be with the core team, or it may not be. But yeah, I mean, there's 50% at least are self-tapes. I mean, I just did a self-tape for a lead role. I'm so thankful for Chelsea and Ashley because I see them, and Janet that helped me on it, because it was like 8 pages, and you do need a person that's reading on the other side of the camera. You do need a setup. It doesn't have to be all fancy or anything. I say, this iPhone that I have in my pocket could totally work. You definitely need a stand, and you need lights, and you need something that's going to depict the person that you are, your color, that's not going to wash you out or make you look too light or too dark, And then also, there's countless numbers of YouTube videos you can look up for self-tape tips, so I'm not going to go over all of them to bore you guys on that. But I say that it's extremely important in the way that casting has moved these days. I think this last year was the year for me of booking off self-tape only and not even going into the room. Was probably 3 or 4 projects, which doesn't maybe sound like a lot, but I've gotten callbacks from self-tapes on 50% of the ones I sent into. So my point being is that people will look at a tape. I send it to a casting director, and then they would say, we're moving on this role really fast. It shoots next week. We're going to choose from these people. They send 3 to the producers. The producer says, all right, this is my first pick. They call, and they say, are you available? Then maybe the person's not available. They'll call and put the next person on avail, and I got on avail several times for many projects from self-tapes. And then it's just a matter of, is it mine or not? And if it's not mine, then I know a bigger opportunity is on its way. So, yeah. If you don't have your self-tape game up, get it up.
Do you think a good reader is important? You talked about readers with some of the guys here.
Absolutely. I think a good reader is extremely important. I mean, I use the WeAudition platform a lot. So yesterday, because this role was very heavy and it had a lot to it, not only did I get to read with people within the house that we're staying in here at Sundance, but I spent an hour on WeAudition yesterday reading with a reader in Australia. And I think it's also important, too, to do it in a variety of assets with different people from different backgrounds, because every person's going to have a different perspective, and it's also going to drive your performance differently. And also, readers are extremely important to answer your question. And I think that just somebody that is articulate, that can read, and that is not too loud. I know it sounds funny to read.
Is your dog not a good option?
Yeah.
Listen, I watch, it's 80%. My clients do not want to sit in auditions anymore. Here's my tips with self-tapes. Follow the rules, follow the rules, follow the rules. And I don't want to see your dirty dishes in the sink and your unmade bed in your living room. Just go on Amazon, buy a screen, stand in front of it, have your setup, have your outfit that you wear. If that outfit books for you, then I don't care if I see you in it 50 times. Just keep wearing it over and over again. Keep it really simple, no props. Just move it as quickly as possible. But the most important thing that's frustrating for self-tapes is who's going to read opposite you. Because if you don't have somebody to read, a lot of people use these systems that you could sort of tape your own voice reading, or they have a system where you type in and it tapes. I think you're better off just getting a reader. But again, I do agree, please don't have your reader overpower you in any way. And also have an egg timer. goes too slow, I get really bored. Okay? So you really want to move it quickly so we can watch it. Because I don't always watch the whole self-tape. I might have to watch 500 self-tapes. So I'm watching 30, 40 seconds. I'm like, yes. But to answer your question about self-tapes, what we normally do to cut down the process is we'll first come up with our ideas. We'll pull their reels offline. We'll let our client look at the ones we like, and then they'll say, these are the 10 people we want to self-tape. So we don't have to do an overwhelming amount. There are other times we will do it. And if we don't like your self-tape, we're not going to show it to the client, and you're never going to know that.
You said something important there about show reels. You said that's the first stage in the process. So show reels are really important to casting.
For me, it is, because a lot of times we'll watch your reel first to see if you're even what we're looking for. And, I'm one to blow up your picture, look for your pictures online. If my client's being very specific, I want to make sure that if I'm sending them 10 people, those are the 10 people they really want to see. I don't need to overwhelm them. They're busy. That's why they hired me. And that's it. But, again, sometimes a client hires you and they want these actors from these certain agencies, and that's the path I got to go down. Other times they're like, let's see everybody. We want, an opportunity to meet new people. So, I love both. And I love if you're non-union also. I do a lot of non-union. Who here's non-union?
There you go. So Anthony, what we've been hearing a lot is that there's now, I've been acting 20 years and stuff's changed. We had a newspaper back in the day. You needed an agent. We went into auditions, the stage. So I've seen a lot of changes, especially because I'm in film and technology. I like to follow these technological changes. And with technology comes money, right? It costs money to build a website like WeAudition and to maintain it and staff it. It costs money for Actors Access, for LA Casting, for all the Spotlight if you're in the UK, all these things you need to be on. A big complaint for new actors is like, we have to spend so much money, there's lots of things to buy. And we always try and steer actors in the, we say that you've got to invest, it is a business, but you've also not got to buy every single thing and pay for everything, because there's some things that just want to take your money. Anthony, what have you seen in terms of actors now have to have good lights and cameras at home? We have to have a lot of headshots and online profiles. How have you seen the expenses of an actor change over the years? Is it going up? Is it going down?
It's going up significantly.
Yeah.
It's going up significantly, and again, if you don't do a loan out, you're screwed. You're not going to be able to deduct any of it, because most often the production company, the studio, they're gonna W-2 you. When you're a W-2 in Hollywood, you're poor forever. So I highly discourage it, and I recommend always doing loan outs, because you can then expense all of these items that you're investing in your business. So it's incredible, the amount of money that people are spending now to further their careers in entertainment, and it's just super important to make sure that you're doing the right thing with your setup.
Yeah,
we're doing all the deal memos. So let's say we're casting a film with 100 roles, and we do the deal memos. To answer you, I would say maybe 2 to 3 actors have loan outs, and the other 97 don't. And it surprises me, because I understand the way it all works, and they don't. They have no knowledge that they should do a loan out and then they can write all this off. Instead, they're paying heavy taxes, and it screws them.
Can we talk about figures? Because one of the things I think people don't talk about money in this industry enough. In actors like, I booked a job, I'm doing great, whatever. Everybody's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I want to give a shout out to, there's a girl called Audrey Moore. We listened to her podcast, Audrey Helps Actors. It's great. I think Carlisa, we met from that, didn't we? Audrey's great. Listen to her podcast if you are an actress. Brilliant for it, because she's very honest and raw. Her new episode of season 4 was all about finances, and she breaks down how quickly a $200,000 series regular role leaves you with about 30 grand in actual cash. So she literally goes through it and talks about the taxes off the top, the relocation to Canada or wherever it's shooting, the cost of living there in a furnished apartment near the studio, the cost of agent, manager, publicist, accountant.
Double taxation as well. Double taxation
Canada.
Going to somewhere like Canada.
Attorney, 'cause all of them have
attorney, all this stuff. And then, if you are a series regular or you are up for some awards, and the cost of getting that publicist for award season, the hair and makeup, all of that. Can you speak to who knows what a series regular earns? Who knows what base rate of a series regular is? And it's different for Canada, and it's different for union, not union. Can you guys just give some rough figures? You know, like let's go in at co-stars are $1,000 a day, right? SAG minimum, yeah, SAG scale. Right, a guest star is what is it about $8,000 a week, guest star? So tell us. And so what's the series regular getting?
If you just start out and you're just getting hired, you're gonna get 25 to 35,000 an episode, and then it obviously climbs up. But it's really not a lot of money, and then they all want to spend it so quickly to buy an apartment or a house in LA or wherever it is. And once you're done, and they don't love you anymore in LA, you're kind of done. So you really have to put a lot of that money away. And this is where a lot of actors think smart, and they say, do I really need an agent or a manager? Because that's 15 and 10, that's like 25% off, and then all these other things that were mentioned. And when you are with these big agencies, they expect you to hire these attorneys, and these attorneys eat your money up like there's no tomorrow. And even for me on my end, like we'll do deal memos, and the agents will then say, well, we're ready for long form, and we'll say we're not doing long forms because we won't hire an attorney to do long forms, so that we don't have to spend that money that could go into production. So it saves that. But then I get thrown some lawyer from LA who's lawyering me on a big deal, and I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh shoot myself, I gotta tell the client that I am not an attorney, and as much as I can do this, I'm not doing it, and you better now hire your attorney to do this. And that's what happens for an independent film. So the independent film now has to pay the attorney $10,000 to $20,000 to handle a couple of the long forms. So you really want to think about, as your career climbs for yourself, where you want to spread your money, because again, all of this, just piece at it, a $200,000 a year ends up, you don't really end up with that much.
To further that, I have a client that made $1.2 million on a film this year, or 2019. She walked away with $300,000 of that. That's it.
1.2 down to 300 grand.
1.2 mil down to 300 because she came in too late, and I couldn't do anything about it. Obviously, next year we're going to change it, but what's done was done. And so that's just the true reality of entertainment now. And so it's so important to make sure that you're doing exactly what everyone up here is saying, making sure that you are smart with the money that you're making, whether it's $2,000 a month or $1 million a month. A lot of our clients will go into real estate, but smart real estate. Don't go buy a $3 million home because you made $3 million this year, because next year they're not going to want you. So it's like, and then you can't pay the mortgage, you can't pay the property taxes, and then you're screwed. You go into foreclosure, and then you're a mess. So we always focus on smart real estate investments, smaller properties that you can rent out and have passive income for those lulls, because they're going to happen. They happen to every single actor we work with, every single one.
Yeah, and I would say I would agree with that. I mean, I don't make that money yet, but hey. But I mean, I have yet, but I have worked on, heck yeah, but I mean, I did work on Black Panther. I made money from these projects, and I will say, I mean, I've been incorporated for maybe a year now. I wish I was incorporated back then, so I could have got more money, because even when I was working in Canada, I was like, dang, they took like 60-70% of my paycheck. I was like, but I think the biggest thing that I could say for me is my I think like my first or second year, I took my money I made from Black Panther and I bought a house in Tennessee. Now, I didn't buy no house in LA because I didn't have LA money, but I bought a house for like $20,000 in order to, I know, right? There's houses that's $20,000 out there, you guys. Actually, it was $25,000. I take it back. But my point is, it was cheap, and I was able to rent it out and make passive income. So I say you have to think past just that paycheck. You can't just go and buy some luxury car or whatever. Will it come a time? Absolutely. Just have that vision. But like everyone is saying, be smart with your money, and then if you learn how to manage it on the smaller end, as you scale up, you're gonna continuously be diligent with your money and discipline. Just be disciplined where you are. You're gonna continue to be disciplined with no matter where you go.
I mean, I'm gonna add an advice I received a really long time ago when I started in the industry, was that even if you make $100K, live as if you're poor, don't change your lifestyle too much, because if you get like a series regular, season 1 could be can't be renewed, things like that. Shit happens. It's a reality, and if you instead invest in saving, just the saving account should be way higher than the checking account. I put all my money in my savings so that when I have to withdraw, I have to do extra steps to get it going. So I think that the idea of, we've learned through history that a lot of entertainers that's at the top of their game go bankrupt. And so, we should keep our money.
So guys, don't be those guys, because I don't want to sound all doom and gloom to anyone that is, a different. I don't know what levels you're all at here, but it's just about being smart with it. We at WeAudition, a lot of our members are doing very well, and we see them doing really, really well, but we hate to see them lose some of that. It's not that everyone's on the bottom level.
We've also got a lot of actors that do it for a job, being a reader. So
yeah, they actually earn money daily on our
Everyone has a
site.
part-time job if they're not making a living doing acting. And some of those need to be flexible. If you're an actor and you need to be doing self-tapes more than you were auditioning, you're doing more self-tapes. So that's more preparation, more work, recording those, doing it again and again. So the time is really important. And being flexible and having flexible income is really important for actors.
And as Richard said, if any of you guys are actors or filmmakers or cast people, you can earn money every day on our site helping other actors. Like you could have helped Carrie yesterday and made some bank.
Somebody made $25 off me, eh?
There you go. Right. And you know what? The actors are really generous because they get really good help. So people are paying decent money. We have a lot of celebrities using it. You can read with someone that's done 200 episodes of a TV show, and you're learning at the same time.
Loads of people do it for their lines as well, not just for their auditions. So people use it now. We didn't actually envisage this when it was built, but we thought that people would just be doing it for self-tapes and for auditioning. But people use it to learn their lines on set in their caravans. They're in their Winnebagos.
The caravans.
You
can take the boy out of England, but you're in a caravan.
That's what I have in the UK.
Richard, we're going to upgrade you to a Winnebago next time. And next it's the Star Wagon.
trailer.
Star Wagon. Guys, I think we should throw it out to the audience. Anyone got any questions for these fine fellows up here? Stu, what's your name? Carolyn.
Hello, everybody. The term box office draw, I think, has changed from what you two are saying. So if I'm going to spend $10, then I might want to see Brad Pitt or, okay, 20. Why not?
That's in Tennessee, honey.
Hello, Utah.
Caroline, you did not post that you want to be Brad Pitt's girlfriend lately,
yes.
did you? Because everybody's been posting that online. All I keep seeing is he's single.
He's too young for me.
Everybody's been saying that.
But
What's your question,
but
Caroline?
nowadays,
Spill it
I
out.
think with casting, I am wondering if now the casting directors and producers say, I don't need an A-lister because the audience is sitting in their home and has 3,000 shows that they're taking 2 minutes to watch, and they'll invest in content, a good script, and they don't really have to have the A-listers. So we get
it doesn't
more
really work
opportunity.
that way. Every project's different, but on a lot of the films I'm on, and I produce films as well, but the people I work with are pretty savvy with the nuts and bolts of how much somebody's worth is out there in the market. And again, every market is different. Where are you going to sell your product? Is it South America? Is it US? Is it Europe? Is it Asia? So there are people behind the scenes saying these 5 people to us make sense. I've worked on so many projects. I've heard it all. You're surprised sometimes who's marketable and who's not marketable. All I do is put lists together. We're list makers. That's nonstop.
Who decides that? Who decides who's
right,
marketable?
Keitha, how many lists have I made for this one in the back? And you have people who are, they analyze these lists and they'll figure out for you who you're going to get. Listen, I mean, you can look at my IMDb. I've worked with Matthew McConaughey and Matt Damon. I've done these films, where these guys and gals have been in, and it makes sense to the product. But then I'm also on other films where you have to meet certain barometers of the financial aspect of the film, and it's not me who's going to tell the director who they're going to pick. It's going to be the financer who's going to have the decision at the end of the day, and that's really who it works. So even though it looks like I'm working with the director, to be honest with you, I'm really not. Most of the time I'm really dealing with the financiers of a project dictating. That's really how it works.
The directors I work with are emerging directors that are award-winning in, like, you know, Berlin, Cannes, Venice, Tribeca, here at Sundance. So, you know, they've done a short film that was amazing. So they have a producer that has $1 million. So, you know, we're not doing $5 million.
Right, but that's not her
budget.
question. She's
Yeah.
asking about box office draw.
Yeah.
That's what she's asking about. I agree. I do indie films. I mean, I've had 1 million films here. She's asking about when you're casting a film, how do they make that decision that somebody's going
Right.
to be that person that's going to meet the demand of the financial aspects of a film. Okay, so that's really on every film. Yes, when you're doing an independent film and the budget's $1 million or whatever it is, and you have the freedom to work with a director and they've financed it through independent financing, they're going to make any decision they want. But when you're working with a studio or with a film that has a mini major studio, you have to answer to these people, and they're hiring you because you can get these people that are going to make them the money back, because it's not domestic, it's foreign sales where they're going to make their money back, and they're going to sell all their territories, and they're going to be in the market at the different, you know, Berlin is next week, and they're going to be in the market. So that's really what the difference is. And yes, I respect what you do, and it's independent casting, and those are the type of films that come to Sundance and go to South by Southwest, and they're discoveries, and you're discovering somebody, and I know you're proud of that. But it's a whole different world when you're hired for a film and they want those markers, and you have to meet them. Because as a casting director, if you can't walk them in the door and get those people they want, then they're not going to hire you again. That's what you know it is. So yes, I'm on both sides of the coin.
Yeah. But but I do think that there are now categories of films like Parasite, Farewell, that are different. So I respect like that you do both, but from my experience, there are producers. Look at A24 and the kind of films they're making. There are independent studios that are really supporting new voices. So I don't think that, and we have to think that our audience is intelligent and brave too, to want to see different things. And so I do agree that, yeah, there's so much content. So it just depends. But yes, for like, if you want to finance something that's more than $2 million, then yeah, like you want like a $5 or $10 million, like indie-ish kind of film, then yeah, they want to attach like, you know, someone. But at the end of the day, if you have a great script and you have some producer will take the risk. It just, I think things are different.
And guys, I think that's the thing we're talking about here is the future of casting and the future of film is that we're getting this hybrid model. There's no one way of doing things anymore, and it's all mixing up and melding, and that's beautiful. You guys had to answer that question as well?
Oh, so one thing to piggyback off of what Adrienne said, the region is super, super important. So we've noticed that your LA rates or your US domestic rates are completely different than what you're going to get paid in like the UK, in South Africa, in Canada. It's very, very different. So understanding those differences is really important when you're deciding on taking a role in a different country. So that was a really valid point.
Right, like we both know a guy that he's a big star in England, and he made more money off of a one guest star in America than he made for a whole series in the UK.
Yeah,
where he's the star of the show.
Yeah, I have another client that is on a huge show, makes a ton of money in Canada. He then went on to a movie, huge movie in London, filming in London, and the rate was way less. He still took it because the exposure was really important, and that's what we had to weigh. Was the exposure worth the money that was being paid? It ended up being that case, and there was a little bit of negotiation, but at the same time, he technically could have gotten more if that role was in the US, but it wasn't.
Right. Any other questions? Ruth Connell. Proud to have Ruth in the house. She's one of our good friends.
Hi. Is there something in the industry that we could be doing to ensure that all our self-tapes that we do a really good job on, that we pour our hearts into, are actually being seen? I know in the UK there's a thing where they're going to do like a
Yes or no?
mark box.
Yeah, oh right, yeah.
But sometimes I send something off into the ether, and even my agent can't tell me.
Yes, so Ruth's question was, is there going to be a thing
I'll
where...
answer that, you know,
let me just repeat the question in case you didn't hear.
was yes, you would send in your self-tape and you can watch if we saw, you can see if we watched it. Because we use EcoCast, there's no way for you to know if we watched it or not, okay? So, no, you're not going to know if we watched it. And we do watch it, whether we watch it for 10 seconds or all the way through. That's our business. If we don't see what we're looking for, I'm not going to waste my time watching it all the way through. But, it's not about getting that part. It's about getting a part, okay? You might not be right for what I'm doing at the moment, but you self-tape, but maybe I make note of you and say, I'm doing something a year later. I'm like, oh, let's go back to that project. Look at all the self-tapes and who submitted. There's what we're looking for, and it pushes you, and you don't even know it. So don't worry about that so much. Actors worry too much about these things. Leave it up to us. We know what we're doing. If we see something we like, we'll move it forward, whether it be today or 2 years from now.
So Ruth, in addition to that, why we created video chat casting was because when you're doing a video chat, you're getting the experience like it's in the room. You're actually getting interaction with the casting director. And we've had some of the biggest casting directors in the world use our system. If you go on our homepage, there's testimonials from all of them, so you can see who has used the system and why they like it. And it's because it's a bit more authentic for the actor to actually be in a room with, even though it's through video chat, you're actually interacting and reading with the cast director like you're in the room, but we're cutting down on waste, we're cutting down on time, we're being more ecologically friendly, we're not driving our big clunky cars all across LA all the time.
And they can give direction as well.
And they can give
sometimes
redirection.
That's been completely different.
And why we're pushing for that as the future is because the actor does deserve to know that their work is being seen and get that chance to adjust and be their actor, that we used to be when we were in the rooms.
And Darren, I also wanted to feedback off of what Adrienne said as well with Ruth, is that, sometimes, like you said, we don't hear, because I've submitted countless numbers of self-tapes, and I'm like, what happened? But you know what? Guess what? 4 months later, casting director hit me up and said, hey, you weren't right for that role, but I have this role that I think you were perfect for. And boom, they went back and they rewatched some self-tapes and was like, oh, that was that girl, So I say, just have faith, do the work, have fun. This is our craft. Let's be creative and put out the best thing, and then just leave it alone, because sometimes that will drag you crazy thinking about it, and we do not need to carry that stress on, So yeah, I just wanted to say
sometimes actors go for a show a number of times. Darren, you've gone for a show a lot of times. One show you went for 13 times, I think, didn't you?
So I went up for turn 13 times, and then this series ended, and I was like, "Give me a role already!" So it happens, and it's even Ruth was a series reg on Supernatural, and that audition came out of nowhere, didn't it? And you were just right for it. She taped for it. Tell us about that. What your experience of Supernatural was like? The tape. Remember the tape?
Friends sent me it. I got in touch with an agent in Canada. I was going to drive to the casting office. There was no way I was not going to get seen for this role. And at the end of the day, Robert Ulrich, who's the casting director, his wife is an actress, so he understood my beta CD, and my agent wrote a persuasive email. So I actually went in the room for the first audition to read, and that's always been my experience with my successes when I get in the room. So that's why.
So you see that, guys? That's what it takes. Anyone that's an actor in here, that's what I knew Ruth at that time, and she saw this role. She's like, I'm bang on right for this. She made all the effort. She found all the connections, got everybody to fight her corner, and booked the role. And what was it? 7 seasons you did?
I'm finishing my 6th.
It's finishing her 6th season, right? But guys, if you think that it's easy, someone is putting that amount of effort in because they're right and because they're good. So you got to put that effort in. At the back there, you next. Hey.
So I had a question, specifically probably for WeAudition as a platform.
Yes.
Is there any future or present potential for musicians and songwriters and people on that side of the talent spectrum to use WeAudition as a tool, or any other platforms to kind of cross over into that side of the industry?
That's interesting. We have talked about that. It's not our industry. There's no good reason why you couldn't get together on our platform, because you can rehearse with a friend. So that could be singing, that could be, and we do have actors do musical stuff on there. We've got a lot of musical actors. So some have gone on there to get singing coaching from their coach or whatever. You could use it that way. There's mainly actors, casting directors, filmmakers, directors on there.
I think our key thing is this reader on demand for actors. So we have the casting side, but the other side for actors is the reader on demand. Actors can use it just for self-taping with a friend. You don't actually need to have a premium account for that. You can just use it like Skype. So you can use it like a video chat platform. So that would be great for music, and you can record on it as well. So you could chat with someone and make recordings, and they're all stored online. So that's a bonus. That would work really well. But the reader on demand is what we're really about for actors.
That's it. You just really need to know the person you're rehearsing with, because there's not going to be the thing that you need on there. But as an actor, any accent that you need, any age, any ethnicity, we've got all
and
of
coaching
them.
as well.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're looking for, and Jacqueline will know. Some wonderful friends of ours in New York started Soho Muse, and it's basically for musicians and people all over the world to connect, who are looking to connect with other people that are, it's not really actors, it's more musicians. So Montgomery Fraser and Cornelia started. I'm a member. You're probably a member, Jacqueline. Right. I mean, you might want to look up Soho Muse, but it's an international. You guys might want to connect with it, because they're not doing what you're doing, so it's not a conflict, but it's more of like, I'm in Utah, I'm a musician. Is anybody else here? Does anybody need me to come play at, this place tonight? Right. So it's that. It's not auditioning, but it's just a connection that's international.
It's like a community. We're all about community. We're going to take one last question before we wrap up. This gentleman here with the camera.
Okay, so when you say a fair like Cats, is that because the names can't save the movie? Or is that something where they should have cast musical people? Because even in Greece back in the day, when they had John Travolta, he had not been a star yet, but they did cast some people from the original musical to make it a hit. Is that a situation where it's like we shouldn't have had those people, or just the wrong people come for that?
Okay, so the question was, when you have I won't say a fail, but a movie like Cats, that I think was a really popular hit this year, is it because the actors weren't right for it, or is there something else?
I heard it's really the CGI that scared and freaked out everyone. No offense. There's many factors. Sometimes, big budgets film, don't always add well. I mean, for example, look at Brad Pitt, right? Here's just something to think about. All the movies that he is leading don't do that well, but every movie that he's a supporting actor in does very well. So it depends on the alignment of things.
That was such a successful musical in London and in New York. So, it's bound to become a film, and you got to sell tickets, so you're going to put names in it. That's really what it's really all about. I mean, if somebody else had optioned it, they wouldn't have, it has to be a big budget. So, all these actors are excited. Nobody signs up for anything and wants it to not do well. Everybody had high expectations. It didn't do well. Nobody feels good about that, I'm sure. And it gets flushed down the toilet and they move on. That's just the way it works. We've all worked on things that aren't great, and we've all worked on things we're really proud of. And, we live in a society where the news just wants to propel and promote negative. And so that was the negative of the Christmas movies. That's really all it comes down to. Had that film come out maybe in March, April, that wouldn't have happened, because it wouldn't then have been what they call an awards film. Films that want to get nominated for awards come out between September 1 and end of December. And that's how, the industry works. So, again, it's no fault of anybody, and you really can't blame anybody. We all have negatives and positives in our lives.
Can I just pick up on that just last thing about negativity as well? What a thing that we found out with WeAudition is the community aspect. We get a lot of emails with people saying, I was feeling a bit lost, I was feeling on the edge, I was going to give up, but the people reading and the community, that's really important, because we're all people that interact with other people. And when you're doing self-tapes on your own, or when you're not working, it's really hard being an actor. And actually, we found our community, something that was unexpected, really powerful thing.
Yeah, and what I like to see is when it comes out into the real world. And for instance, I know like one of our members, Carlise, thank you. She's excited to meet a guy she rehearses with every day. He's coming in tomorrow, Steve Shermitt, and she rehearsed with him a lot. And they've never met in person, have you? I
have not done
that. Right, but you've worked with. You only want to work with him. So that's the community aspect, guys. So find your people. With that in mind, I think we're going to wrap up this. The bar is open. Get some free drinks, guys. Meet everyone in the room.
Thanks for being
here. Ciak, please take some pictures on the press wall. And we hope you have a great Sundance, all right? Thank you to everyone on the panel. Thank you so much.